Hi, everyone. Hi, Yawa. Yaya. Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to join here. We've got a few people joining from Facebook. Hello, everyone. Hi, Abdiram, and we're going to start in a few minutes. I'm just going to give a few minutes to people joining on Facebook and YouTube, and then I'll go over everything shortly, okay? How to get a work visa? Thanks for sharing that question. I can answer that at the end of our session today. Hello, Janice. It says the Canadian visitor visa is now at 33 days. How long will it take if we apply on 2020? Awesome. Well, everyone, I'd like to just welcome. My name is Victoria. I'm a licensed Canadian immigration consultant with Visa Place. We are hosting a live session on Facebook and YouTube so that you guys can tune in and get the latest updates on the Canadian immigration forefront. It also gives us an opportunity to meet with you guys and answer some questions. I am a licensed immigration consultant and professional. I've been working in immigration for the last 10 years, so I am qualified to give you general advice about your immigration petitions and anything that you might have wondering about qualifications and eligibility as well. So Yaya says, I've done a bachelor's in forestry now. I want to get admission into master's. Can it be done without Ielts? That's a great question. If anyone else has any queries for me, feel free to post it in the comment box and I'll be sure to get to them at the end of our session today. Okay. For today, I will be going over the latest COVID-19 updates. So some changes that recently happened for people traveling to Canada. I'll also be sharing the latest changes within immigration. We got a new minister. So some details on that and how it affects things for immigration, as well as for our express entry segment of the session. I'll share the latest rounds of invitations and what we anticipate to come in the near future. I'll also be going over a provincial nominee program. So a lot of people ask me about provincial nominations. So I can share a little general overview of what it entails and how to get a nomination. And one quick update on bridging open work permit. Okay. So Dr. Nia says, hello, I am a GP doctor in Saudi Arabia, age 45. I want to Canadian immigration and PNP. Is it possible? Great questions. Where's everyone tuning in from? Let me know what country you're from. We've got Amen from Algeria. We've got Jose. Good morning. In 2017, I requested a visitor visa for Canada. It was linked to my Mexican passport. As I changed passports, I was wondering if I can request the Canadian visitor visa again as the numbers have changed. Awesome. I'll get to that shortly, Jose. Thanks for posting that. Jose is from Mexico. Abdul is from Bangladesh. Great. Alexandra is from Colombia, but currently in Canada. Hi, Alexandra. We've got Yaya from Pakistan, Ashley from South Africa. Welcome, everyone. We've got Mark. We've got a question about a relationship with a Canadian citizen, so definitely I can look at that. We've got Janice tuning in from Canada, but she's living in Bogota. Awesome. We've got people from Georgia, Nigeria, the United States, Sri Lanka. Welcome, everyone. We have a question from Amra about a refusal on a study permit. A great question, Amra. Let's see here. She applied for a diploma in early childhood education. That's good. Okay. You can definitely review your query and answer any doubts that you might have there. We've got folks from Afghanistan, Tunisia, Nepal. Hello. Okay. Hi, Miko. Namibia is in the house. Okay. All right, just a few more minutes here, and then we can get started shortly. Keep the questions coming, everyone. If you ever wondered what it's like to immigrate to Canada, or if you've tried applying for immigration and need a little bit of support, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions today. A little bit about myself. Again, I am an immigration consultant. I'm part of the consultation team at Visa Place. We're a law firm based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We've been in practice for many, many years, many decades in Toronto. We've been helping many clients all over the world, North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, helping people and their families come to Canada and immigrate here, start a new life. So our team here is certainly qualified to speak with you. If you want an assessment, if you want a direct consultation with us, you can book one on our website. But if you just have a general question and you want to get some idea before we get started, I'm happy to answer those as well today, okay? Okay. I'm going to start in a few minutes, okay? I'm going to start in 2 minutes. If you want to speak with me or another member of my consultation team, you can book a consultation with us on our website, visaplace.com. We'll be sharing a discount code as well for our consultation if you'd like to speak with us directly. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Visa Place live session for today. My name is Victoria. I work with Visa Place and I'm an immigration consultant here. For our agenda today, I'll be going over the latest COVID-19 updates, specifically pertaining around visitors to Canada, those who might be interested in traveling here, whether that's for business or to visit a family member. I'll also be going over the latest immigration updates, specifically within the government, with the new minister that we have and what that means for immigration programs. I'll also be going over our express entry segment, which is the main way for perma residence applications to be processed. So the latest on there, that's a quite popular program for everyone. So I know everyone's keen on understanding what's happening. I'll also be sharing a little bit about provincial nominee programs. If you've tuned in before, we have shared a few details about how to get a provincial nomination. So I'll go over that again just to give everyone a quick overview. And I will be sharing a quick update on the bridging open work permit changes that came into place recently and what that means for people who are in Canada or for people who are students and applying for bridging open work permits. At the end of our session as well, I'll be conducting a question and answer period. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to post them here. I'll get to them as soon as I can. We have a few good questions coming in already, so keep them coming in and we'll get to them shortly. Okay. All right, so we'll start off with COVID-19 updates. Pretty much now, the Canadian borders have been open to almost all travelers, especially if you are fully vaccinated. As of November 30th as well, we are now adding 3 new vaccines to the approved list. So Sinopharm, Sinovac, and Covaxin, which are largely popular in India and China and most of the world. If you have received your full doses of these COVID vaccines, you are now eligible to travel to Canada as a visitor. Okay. Previously, you only were permitted to come to Canada under qualifying exceptions, such as visiting a family member or for an essential purpose. But pretty much now, if you have your vaccine, you can enter Canada as a traveler, as a tour for tourism for a non-discretionary purpose. Okay, so if you got a valid visa, or if you're from a country that doesn't require a visa, you can certainly fly to Canada and enter as you would normally. Of course, you do have to follow the protocols, which include having a proof of COVID vaccination. So that should be from your health authorities in your respective countries, as well as downloading the ArriveCan app. The ArriveCan app was created specifically for COVID-19, and that's how the government tracks your entry as well as a potential quarantine plan. So if you have your COVID-19 vaccination, you don't have to quarantine or show proof of a negative COVID test, but you want to make sure that you have downloaded the ArriveCan app and uploaded all the details there. Okay. For all passengers as of November 30th as well, including for flights departing from Canada or within or out of Canada, you do need to have proof of COVID-19 vaccinations. And effective January 15th, anyone who is unvaccinated or partially vaccinated will only be allowed entry into Canada under very limited circumstances. Usually if you are entering for a short period of time, or if there are any medical contraindications with the COVID-19 vaccination. Pretty much everyone else, if you are intending to travel to Canada, you do need to have your vaccines. Okay, and that does include people reuniting with their Canadian family members, citizens, permanent residents, international students, and people applying for a work permit. Any questions about entering Canada's borders or traveling to Canada as a tourist, feel free to let me know and post a question in the comments below, and I'll be able to get to that shortly. So moving on now to latest immigration updates. So we have a new Minister of Immigration, Mr. Sean Fraser, who was elected on October 26, 2021, which was just a few weeks ago. So, right now on the immigration forefront, there's not much happening. It's been relatively quiet. We are waiting for everyone in cabinet to settle down and get their reins on everything. So it'll be a short while, hopefully, before the end of the year or early in the next year, 2022, where we'll start to see some major changes in terms of immigration policies and programs. As well, recently there was a backlog that was released in the news on October 27th, showing that there's been 1.8 million immigration applications in the backlog. So as you can imagine, because of COVID-19, because of processing delays, there's tons and tons of applications that are stuck in processing, that are behind. 548,000 of those are for perma residence applications. I know many people who applied for express entry federal skilled worker in 2019 and 2020. Some of them haven't received anything, haven't received any updates, and I know it can be very frustrating. But as you can see, Canadian immigration is trying to process everything as quickly as possible. As well, 776,000 of those applications are for temporary resident visas. So we've got visitors, workers, students. Half of them are actually for visitor visa applications. So I know there's many people outside who are looking to come to Canada and visit loved ones and family members, or if you're married to a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. So many people are just really waiting for their visitor visas to be approved, and hopefully we'll be able to get some traction and some movement on there shortly. For people who need to come to Canada urgently, okay, if you have urgent travel, There's an option for us to see how we can assist. This also includes permanent residence applications that have been stuck, visitor visas. If you've applied and it's been quite a while, you haven't heard back in over a year or even 2 years, there's different options that we can take a look at. We can see what's going on from an immigration perspective. We can request immigration notes and see what the status is of your application. Perhaps there's something that's missing and they haven't been able to reach out to you, or you haven't been able to provide it. Or we can look at also other options for you to get here besides the one that you applied for. So if you think this situation might apply to you, you can book a consultation with us, and we can review your situation, see what we can do, and recommend some next steps. Okay. So moving on to express entry. Express entry has usually been quite active in previous months and years, but over the last quarter of the year, it's been quite slow. We've really only seen provincial nominee programs and draws. The latest one was on November 10th, and there was a score of 775 who were, sorry, not a score, 775. 775 invitations were sent out for people who qualify for provincial nominee programs that were sent out. So certainly it's been quite quiet on the express entry front, and everyone again is really just waiting to see what's going to happen. A lot of us are anticipating the all program draws, which is for a federal skilled worker. This is for people who perhaps have good education, good work experience, and they are interested in applying for permanent residence. That's the most popular program, and so we're all sitting around and waiting to see when it will resume again. Okay, so again, we're still waiting for the new minister to make a decision on that, whether they're going to start off the new year with federal skilled worker programs, or if we're going to be targeting, again, just PNP and CEC, which is Canadian Experience Cost Draws again, similar to what happened last year. Okay. Personally, I do think we are gearing up for a reopening. So federal skilled worker all program draws, which will really should start in the new year in January. Okay. Recent reports indicate again that we're a little bit behind on our immigration levels. So it's going to be interesting to see what's happening in terms of new policies and programs that are coming out. But as of now, people who are interested in applying for permanent residence, who have been thinking about applying for federal skilled worker, or even provincial nominee programs, which I'll talk about in the next little bit, I think now again would be a very good time to start the process for that. We've got a little over a month left before the end of the year. Things are slowing down. Things are a little quiet in terms of business and in terms of work. I think it's a really great opportunity to start taking the next step to see, if you're interested in applying for a permanent residence, what do you need to do in order to do so, and how do we get in on the action for early next year. Okay. So I get a lot of people asking about provincial nominee programs. Provincial nominee programs are essentially programs that are controlled and directed by certain provinces. So express entry, which is a federal-wide program, it applies to all of Canada. Provincial nominee programs are specific to different regions across Canada. So they're looking at a particular set of criteria. So there's many programs. I think there's probably over 100 programs that might be applied. But typically we've got entrepreneurship route. So if you want to open a business, we have a skilled worker route, as well as international graduates who may have studied within the province. I think the most important or the most program that people are interested in would be the skilled worker programs within the respective provinces. Over the last little bit, we've seen British Columbia, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Manitoba very active in terms of their draws, which means they are extending invitations to people to come and move to their respective provinces. For example, Out east, we've got Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island. There's not so many people that live there. And so they're really trying to attract talent. They're trying to attract people with the requisite work experience that they need there in order to come and migrate to Canada. Okay. Most programs, if you have a job offer from an employer in that province, you're most likely eligible to apply under a provincial nomination program. So we've got the job offer category. If you know somebody who is looking to hire somebody, or if you've even applied for jobs generally, it's possible for you to get a job offer from an employer and apply for permanent residence that way. However, there's many provinces, or a few provinces, I should say, that do not require a job offer. Okay, they usually have a point system, a ranking system, similar to the Express Entry program, that looks at your age, your work experience, your education, your English or French language skills, and ranks you against other candidates. And then they can extend you an invitation that way, depending on where you fall within the respective point system. Okay. Some other factors that can gain you additional points would be having a family member or a friend in the province. If you know anyone that lives there, that can kind of help you integrate to the community, who can, kind of tie you to living to that province. Those usually give you a little bit of brownie points in order to receive a nomination from a province. Another aspect that can garner you a better likelihood for a provincial nomination would be your occupation. So people who have extensive work experience in healthcare, such as a licensed practical nurse or nurse aide, or a support worker, or people who are in IT, in technology occupations, a software developer, software computer engineer, or a systems analyst. Those are certain occupations that are in demand in certain regions. So if you have work experience there, it's maybe likely that you would be eligible to apply for a provincial nomination. Of course, it's very difficult for me to talk about all the different program criterias because there's just so many. I think the best way really would be to book a consultation with one of our team members and see, is there an opportunity for you to apply for a provincial nomination? We'll review your work experience, we'll review your personal circumstances, and make a recommendation and say, you know what, I think we can get you an invitation under this province. Let's do this. Let's work together and apply, make an application for you. Okay. Any questions for me about provincial nomination programs, feel free to post them, and I'll try to get to them. Okay, so I wanted to share a quick update on bridging open work permits, and this is targeted for people who are currently in Canada, people who are in Canada and who have graduated. Sorry, not graduated. Who applied for permanent residence and are waiting for their permanent residence applications to be approved. You are usually eligible for a bridging open work permit. Now, that bridging open work permit is what ties you over until permanent residence allows you to work in Canada, to stay here and maintain valid status. Previously, people were only eligible to apply for bridging open work permits within 4 months of their work permit expiry, but a recent change was announced where you are allowed to apply at any time. If your work permit expired, if you're currently on maintained status, or even if you lost your status, but you're still eligible to restore your worker status, you are eligible to apply for a bridging open work permit. So we can see it's made it much easier for everyone to do so, especially if you've already applied for permanent residence. Okay. So I see a lot of good questions coming in here. I'm going to be going over them right now, answering your questions, and let's see what you guys are interested in, what we can help you with. Okay. Okay. So I have a question. The question is, I want to go to Canada without Ielts. Is that possible? It depends. I think if you are applying for permanent residence, it is possible for you to not write an Ielts, which is an English language test that's required in order to apply. But if we're applying for under an economic program, most likely it would be needed. Okay, so it really depends on your specific situation. If you're looking to come to apply as a visitor, you won't need an English language test. Okay. It says the Canadian visitor visa is now at 33 days. How long will it take if we applied in 2020? So there was a change that was announced in September about applications that were submitted previously. So essentially what's happening right now is they are trying to prioritize certain visitor visa applications, especially if you're here to visit a family member. It could be that your application didn't qualify for an exception at the time. However, if you're looking to apply for a new visitor visa, it could be that we could get an approval or a decision as early as 30 days. So it really depends on the reason why you're looking to apply for a visitor visa. If there's an urgent request there, or if you do fall under an exception. But it really depends also where you're applying from which visa office. So if you want our team to take a look at that further, we can certainly see how we can get you a visitor visa much sooner, especially considering that when you applied in 2020. How to get a work visa? Really great question. So this largely really depends on your job opportunity in Canada. Usually if you have a job offer from a Canadian employer, it's very likely that we could get you a work visa. It also depends on your nationality, depending on which country you're from. That's another added avenue in order for you to get a work permit. But typically, if you want to really start off from the basics, I think you apply for jobs. There are certain Canadian websites where you can submit your job application. We have a few articles on our website as well that kind of shows you how to apply for a job, how to put together a resume. So if you're looking to apply for a work permit in Canada without a job offer, it's certainly possible, but you just have to do a little bit of legwork before doing so. Okay, so we have a question from, hello, I'm a GP doctor in Saudi Arabia, age 45. I want Canadian immigration and provincial nomination. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Certain provinces have made a mention that they are looking for people who are physicians or medical practitioners. So absolutely, especially if you've got a high education, you've got a PhD, you've got really good English, it's definitely within the realm of possibility for you to apply for a permanent residence to Canada, to a certain province. Okay. And specifically, I'm talking about provinces out east. I have a work permit and my husband is an international student. Would it be better for us to apply for the permanent residence after he graduates or before? That's a really great question. So if you have a job offer on your work permit, it's possible for us to apply for permanent residence before he graduates or even after. So my take on this is apply for permanent residence as soon as you're eligible. If you meet the requisite, if you got a job offer, if you've worked in Canada for a year, those are some of the reasons why you can already apply for permanent residence and not wait for your husband to finish school. That will also perhaps save in terms of tuition if you become a permanent resident before your husband graduates, because you can pay the tuition of a domestic student rather than an international student. So really apply as soon as you're eligible. And if you're not sure if you're eligible, book a consultation with me. I'd be happy to take a look at that for you. Good morning. On 2017, I requested a visitor visa for Canada. It was linked to my Mexican passport. As I changed passport, the one linked to my visa was due 2 years ago. I was wondering if I have to request my Canadian visitor visa again as the numbers in my passport changed. Thanks. Okay. Did you receive, okay, you requested a visitor visa for Canada was linked to my Mexican passport, changed passport, the one linked to my passport was due 2 years ago. I was wondering if I have to request a new visitor. It depends. I think if your visitor visa is still valid. You can take your old passport and you still have that with you, of course, and apply for, you don't need to apply for a new visitor visa. You can just use that visa in your old passport, and then apply to come to Canada with your new passport. Okay, that answers your question. My sister is from Sri Lanka, was refused a student visa, and now we have applied for her notes, but it's been 2 months already. She's 23 years old and has applied for a diploma in early childhood education. What is your advice? And we have shown my father's bank account for financial proof. Should we put some money in her account? That is a really great question. I think it's awesome that she's getting a diploma, or she's applying for a diploma in childhood education. Really great field for her to get into. It's difficult to say regarding your refusal. I think it's great that you have also applied for immigration notes. Right now, they are taking over 2 months, so I assume we'll be able to get your immigration notes very shortly. But once you have that, book a consultation with us. Our team here at Visa Place, we've been dealing with study permits for a while, a very long time, and we're quite good at working with clients in terms of after clients have received a study permit refusal, we'll work with you to review the notes, see which ways we can improve your study permit application, and apply on your behalf as well too. Especially now that you have a refusal, I would really recommend that you work with an immigration professional to review and make a stronger application. So financially, that could be a reason as well too, but it also could be her age, the fact that she's 23 years old, ties to home country, or other certain factors. So it really depends on what was said in the refusal letter as well as what comes out in the immigration notes. Hi, I'm from the Philippines, but working in Thailand. Would it be possible to get a job in Canada? Yes, it would be, depending on your job occupation, job opportunities, whether or not you have a job offer here. So certainly, yes. Hi, I'm from Morocco, and I'm interested to work in Canada. I'm a chef in a restaurant. Can you tell me how to do that, or what should I do? So in the food industry, we do need a lot of chefs and cooks here. So I think there are a lot of opportunities and chances for you to be able to get a job offer here. There is a program called the Federal Skilled Trades, especially if you are working as a chef in another country. If you have the requisite skills and can apply for a certificate of qualification, that's just one avenue for you to be able to apply for Canadian permanent residence. And that actually doesn't even require a job offer. So I think it's certainly possible for you to apply for migration to Canada. Especially if you're from Morocco, perhaps you speak French. I think there's also an avenue there for you to be able to come and work here based on your French language skills. To come from the United States of America, immigration to Canada. If you're coming from the United States, there's many ways that you can come to Canada, especially because given your proximity here. But I need a few more details there to figure out. You could get a work permit here. You can first come here as a visitor, and see if you like it. If you've got a family member who's Canadian, those are just some ways that you can apply for permanent residence or come to Canada. I'm 40 years old. Is it still possible to get a work permit? Absolutely, yes. Age is not a factor for work permits. If you have a job offer, we can get you a work permit. There's no age requirements at all for work permits. How long approximately is it taking for Outland spousal sponsorship application right now? They are taking around 12 months to be processed. Could be a little bit sooner, could be a little bit later, but usually around 12 months. If you already have an application in place, or if you are looking to apply, our team here at Visa Place can certainly help you with that application. I am a British citizen currently in Canada on a visitor's visa to see my partner. We would like to explore our options for either extending the visa for permanent residence or citizenship or spousal sponsorship. Any help would be appreciated. Well, depending on your age, we could potentially look at getting you a work permit as a British citizen. I think if you're under 30 years old, we could get you a 2-year working holiday visa, or if things are getting serious with your Canadian partner and you want to establish a common law partner or perhaps get married, we can certainly apply for spousal sponsorship for you. Especially if you're in Canada right now, there's an added benefit of us getting you an open work permit while your permanent residence application is in place. That allows you to work in Canada until your permanent residence application is processed. So certainly for you, I think there's immediate next steps that we could take in order to see how you can stay here a little bit longer and with your partner and stay here permanently as well. Okay, so my parents and I have permanent residence in 2012 when I was 8 years old. In 2014, my father decided to return to our native country and the PR card expired. How can I return to Canada now at the age of 18? That is an excellent question. There is a way for you to get permanent residence, your permanent residence reinstated, especially now that you're 18 years old. You have a little bit more control of your life and where you want to be. I think having Canadian permanent residence is a really big benefit that you want to take advantage of. And especially given that you haven't lost your permanent residence, there is a way for us to get you a permanent resident travel document based on humanitarian and compassionate reasons. For example, because you were 8 years old, you were still a minor, and you didn't really have an opportunity or a say or a chance to decide where you want to live, that's a factor that was beyond your control. So we recently actually helped a client from Jamaica, similar situation. She had permanent residence from when she was very young, and she didn't know that she had permanent residence until much later in life. We were able to get her into Canada as a permanent resident, and now she's here as a permanent resident, and she had only been here once before. So I think in your case, very similar. We can certainly help you out with that. I got my PR confirmation just over a week ago. I'm awaiting the actual permanent resident card. My wife is my accompanying spouse. How soon will she receive her PR confirmation? So if you guys applied together and she was your accompanying spouse, you should have completed your permanent residence confirmation together. Okay, so it would have been activated for the both of you and your entire family together as a spouse. Okay, so if you haven't done that, or if you're not sure if you did the right thing, you may want to take a look at that or give us a call and see how we can help you. If I had put in a sponsorship application for my American husband a couple months ago as if outside of Canada. We decided to fly outside of Canada because of his job. However, he was recently let go and is visiting me now and throughout the holidays. I understand that sponsorship applications are delayed due to COVID. Since the sponsorship applications are being delayed, is there any way we can get him a work permit or a temporary work permit so he can stay and work? Arminder, I think there's a question here that you just posted as well too that's quite similar. If you've applied for spousal sponsorship outside of Canada, there's no way for us to transfer that application to inland spousal sponsorship. So you can't get an open work permit in that sense for your spouse. However, there are different avenues for us to get a work permit for your spouse. Perhaps they work in a certain occupation. Perhaps they have a job offer. So for that, we have to look into your file a little bit closer and see what opportunities there are for you to apply for a work permit for your spouse, especially now that processing times are taking a little bit longer. That you want the opportunity to be able to make money. So absolutely, I understand the need to be able to work here and get work authorization. So I would say, if you can hold out for a little bit longer, you can wait and see when your permanent residence will be approved. Or if you're really interested in applying for a work permit, we'll have to conduct a more specific assessment. Okay. How can I apply for a work visa when I am not a skilled worker? That's a great question. I think most people think that the only avenue for you to be able to get a work permit or permanent residence is to apply as a skilled worker. But there's many people who are working in this trades, construction, industrial, any of those type of occupations, there's a chance for you to apply for permanent residence, whether you're a chef or cook or a butcher, a plumber, electrician. There's many opportunities and many occupations there for you to be able to apply for a work permit or permanent residence. There's also opportunities for you to apply if you're working within the cultural industries as well too. So for that, we'd have to take a look at your personal situation a little bit closer to see what avenues are there for you. So please, what is the difference between DV lottery and Canadian Express entry? I'm not sure what you mean by DV lottery. You need to skip over that question. If you want to share some more details there, I can help answer that for you. Is it possible to get permanent residence Canada without a job offer? Yes, absolutely you can. The most common way in order for you to get a permanent residence in Canada without a job offer would be as a federal skilled worker. So depending on your education, your age, your work experience, your language skills as well too, there's different ways for you to do that. How can my husband and I apply for permanent residency in Canada from Trinidad? It depends on your situation. Trinidad is now added to one of the countries for the study direct stream. So depending on your age and your education, if you qualify to apply for permanent residency based on those qualifications alone, you can apply. But if you are interested in applying for school, for perhaps a study program, a 1 or 2 year diploma, I think that's your best bet in order to be able to come to Canada. The normal pathway is for people to come in as a student, especially if you already have a bachelor's degree. You could always go back to school and upskill your education. You complete an education program, you work after on a postgraduate work permit, you get a work permit for you and your spouse, and then you guys apply for permanent residence. So there's a very easy pathway there for you in order to be able to apply for permanent residence. So somebody asked about the diversity lottery and Canadian Express entry. So I believe the diversity lottery is for a U.S. immigration program, and the Canadian Express entry is for Canadian immigration. So those two differ a little bit there. If you are interested in applying for U.S. immigration, we do have a team here who can support you. I've been waiting only 15 plus months for my girlfriend to get her tourist visa. That is a very long time in order for her to get her visa. So it really depends on where you applied from, which visa post. If you are in Canada and you're a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, I think there's an opportunity for us to be able to push your immigration application, her application along, get a status update. So our lawyer can help you with that, or perhaps reapply and apply for a new visitor application. Okay. I'm from South Africa and I want a visa or permanent residence. I want to come to Canada. Okay, so if you're from South Africa and you want to apply, I would say book an assessment with us, see how we can review your profile and make a recommendation for you. We've got many clients from South Africa who are coming to apply as a student, as a worker. So most certainly there's an avenue there for you. I'm currently studying my master's in strategic corporate finance at National Research University in Moscow. Awesome, cool stuff. And I would like to travel to Canada in January 2022 for the holidays. Please, what do I need to do? First things first, you need to be able to get approved COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, so I'm not sure if the Russian vaccine is going to be approved by then, but you do need to have one of those. And then number 2 is apply for a visitor visa. We got a visitor visa for one of our clients who was also based in Russia as early as a week. So if you're looking to come here for tourism, we can certainly help you with that. Okay. Which way is easy for a 20-year-old to apply for a work visa? So it depends on which country you're from. If you're from one of our working holiday countries, for example, Australia, France, Germany, South Korea, Japan. There's a bunch of countries on the list there. It's a youth mobility program, which allows you to be able to get Canadian work experience and work here. So if you are from one of those countries, you can certainly apply for a work permit. I am 49 years old, Lebanese. I speak English and French. I have over 20 years of experience in banking and credit administration. My wife teaches accounting and she's 39 years old. We have 2 children, a boy 6 years and a girl 5 years. We hope to know the right way to apply and pass our immigration process. Is it possible? What do you recommend in our situation? Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you are a great candidate for express entry, especially because you are bilingual. You can speak English and French. Those are our official languages here in Canada, and there's simply not enough people who speak French here. So there is a priority for people who can speak French, for francophones, and those who are bilingual. So I really do think you would be an excellent candidate for express entry. I would have an assessment conducted for you for the point system and see where you fall in that, and we can make a recommendation for you to immigrate to Canada. Absolutely. Me and my partner applied for a visitor visa in June. At this time, process still without any update. Can you help us give advice about this situation? All right. Yeah, I feel you. There's so many people who are kind of stuck in this situation, again, waiting for visitor visas that are stuck for months on end with no kind of update. I would say the best way is, if you have an urgent reason, as I shared earlier in our information sharing session, if you have an urgent reason to come to Canada, or if you feel like your application is kind of stuck and it's not progressing at all, we can help take over your visitor visa application. Our lawyer would send an update for you to immigration, correspond with you as well too, and have them request them to be able to process your application in a timely manner. Okay, so that's something that we could do here for you at Visa Place. In express entry after biometrics, my application can be refused. Yes, the answer is yes. Even though you've completed biometrics, your application can be refused if you don't meet program requirements. If you have a document or a detail that's missing, it can certainly still be refused. When will they conduct FSW draws? We are anticipating early next year, hopefully in January, okay, for all program draws. My husband and I are together with our kids. We want to immigrate to Canada. My husband is a welder fabricator by trade. How can we apply, and how do we apply for PR as well? Looks like your husband would make an excellent candidate for federal skilled trades. Otherwise, we could look at you going to school again, applying for a study permit as well, in order for you and your family to immigrate here and to apply for permanent residence. How many chances do Pakistanis have going to Canada without Ielts? If you're looking to apply for the Pakistani study direct stream, you do need the Ielts. However, you can apply for a study permit without one. If you're looking to apply for permanent residence, most likely you would need to complete an English language assessment. I'm applying to apply for a super visa for my parents who are in India at the moment. Are there any changes in the income requirement for a family of 4? I spoke to one immigration consultant and he said I don't need to show my income for applying for my super visa. My dad is currently working and my mom is retired. So for super visa, there is an income requirement and you do have to show it for a family of 4. There's been no changes, so you do want to refer to that schedule there in order to see if you meet that in order to qualify. I am 55 years old and single. How can I get a work visa? I have an accounting and administration background. What are my chances? Depends on which country you're from, what your citizenship is, but I think absolutely you can apply for a work visa. There's still a way for you, especially if you maybe want to consider going to school again. Just because you're 55 years old doesn't mean that it's too late. I need your help and advice. I'm a plumber with 18 years experience in my job. I've been working in 2 countries, Greece and Albania. I graduated from technical school from Greece. I worked for a few years and now in the last 10 years. I'm planning to move to Canada with my family. Can you recommend any procedure for the professional? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you're a plumber, I think you can apply to get your experience transferred to Canada, get a certificate of qualification, and apply for a federal skilled trades. If you need some support with that, we can definitely help you out and look at your credentials and make an assessment for you. Can I apply for perma residence if I want to sponsor myself? Yes. On the basis of my husband and I being approved for express entry, what would be the best way to secure a job offer in Canada while still living in our native country? I'm in learning and development, and my husband is in quantitative credit risk. On the basis of my husband. So it looks like you guys might have a perma residence application in place. I think there are definitely ways for you to apply for a job offer while you're still in your home country. You can apply to positions on our major job placement websites, and as well notify your potential employer in your cover letter or resume that you are looking to apply for perma residence. You're expecting to get it approved. When you're at the interview, you can let them know, and that'll kind of increase your chances there. How can I get PR with a visitor visa? That's a really great question. If you've got a visitor visa, you can come here, explore opportunities for you to get a job, and perhaps we can recommend certain regions for you that will be more likely for you to get a job offer and apply for permanent residence. So it's certainly possible. Okay. I have someone requesting a suggestion on a knock code for content moderator. If you'd like to use my work experience for points, I need to figure out what your duties and responsibilities are. I think the best way would be for us to book a consultation, and I can review your NOC code with you. Okay. I am a psychological counselor in my country and have 25 years experience and have a visitor visa. Can I do clerical or any other jobs in Canada? Visitor to work visa. Yes, you can. If you have a job offer and if we can get you a work permit, if you're here as a visitor and you want to meet an employer, for example, in certain cities, in certain towns that need people with your work experience, absolutely, there's a way for you here. Any ideas what is going on with IRCC issuing ETAs? They're taking so long. My friend is ready to travel and applied for an ETA 1 month ago. Would working with you speed up this process? Yes, absolutely. We have so many clients who applied for ETAs and they're honestly just stuck. So we can definitely take a look at that for you and speed up the process for you for sure. We've had a few clients recently retain us for the exact same thing. So we can explore with you what those options are and how to get that going. For you. What is the easiest way of traveling to Canada? Applying for a visitor visa and getting your vaccination. What would be the most common PR rejection motives? That's a great question. So most common reasons for refusals, not saying what you did in terms of work experience, not providing the correct documents, any criminality, any health issues, perhaps misrepresentation as well. Could be an innocent misrepresentation. Maybe you put something or you answered the wrong question, and it was later uncovered that you either omitted or failed to tell something to immigration that's a reason for your PR application to be refused. A lot of times clients are rejected because they fail to provide the correct document. So if you are early in the stages of you applying for permanent residence, I would have some a legal professional review that for you and see, make sure you've got everything sorted out before you submit. If you have a relative living in Canada, how are the chances of getting Canadian visa and permanent residence? Chances are much higher if you know somebody living in Canada. So absolutely. What is a temporary foreign worker, AIPP and IMP? Is it possible to convert a visitor visa to work permit? Currently, I am in India. Temporary foreign worker and the International Mobility Program are 2 work permit streams. So basically, one is LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment requiring, which means that the government has to prove, you have to prove to the government that your employer, that there is no Canadian or permanent resident available to do the job. So depending on that, you can qualify under one of those streams. And AIPP is our Atlantic Immigration Program, which requires you to have a job offer from an Atlantic employer. Can we convert a visitor visa to a work permit? Yes, you can. Are there chances of getting permanent residency in Canada with just a bachelor's degree? Yes, absolutely, there is. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Really great questions. I tried to go through all of them. Really great start. Tune in next month as well, too, if you want the latest updates or if you have any other questions to ask me. But as always, you can always book a consultation with us as well, too. You can use the coupon code VN25 for 25% off our consultation. You'll have 30 minutes with our team member. We'll sit down, we'll go over all of your case details, where you're from, what your background is, who your family is. We'll explore all the different avenues for you, from temporary residence to work permit to permanent residence to family sponsorship to provincial nominee program, whatever it is. We'll make a suggestion for you. We'll let you know how long it's going to take, what the process is, how we can help, so that you can figure it out. And make the decision to come to Canada and start that journey with us. So we're here to help you at any time. Okay, so you can go ahead and book that on our website. It's www.visaplace.com. Until next time, everyone, thanks again for tuning in with us today. Hope you are all doing well. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys real soon. Bye-bye.